If you're over 50 and sometimes feel tired, bloated, or sluggish after meals, the issue may not be the food itself, but the combination of foods on your plate. We often blame specific ingredients for our discomfort, but many nutrition experts suggest that the secret to feeling lighter and more energized lies in how we pair things together. Hey everyone, welcome back. It's great to have you here today. We're going to explore a topic that touches almost everyone as they move into the second half of life. Yet it is rarely discussed in a simple, practical way. We spend decades developing our eating habits, often eating the same meals we enjoyed in our 20s and 30s. But as we age, our internal rhythms shift. The digestive fire that once processed complex meals with ease tends to settle into a slower, gentler pace. This isn't something to worry about. It is just a sign that our body is asking for a little more awareness. Today, we're going to look at 3 specific food combinations that many people over 50 find harder to digest. Most people eat these pairings every single day without ever realizing that a simple swap could be the key to reclaiming their energy. But here is the part most people don't realize about digestion. It is not just about what you eat. It is about the chemistry of how foods interact in your stomach. Different foods require different enzymes and different amounts of time to break down. When we throw completely opposing food types together, we can sometimes create a traffic jam in the digestive system. For someone over 50, this traffic jam doesn't necessarily cause illness, but it can lead to that heavy, foggy feeling where you just want to take a nap after lunch. Experts suggest that by simplifying your meals, you can free up energy that your body would otherwise spend on hours of difficult digestion. This next insight might explain your entire personality after a large dinner. If you have ever felt unexpectedly drained after a meal that seemed healthy, the culprit might simply be the pairing. The first combination we need to discuss is perhaps the most classic meal structure in the Western world. Heavy animal proteins combined with starchy carbohydrates. Think of steak and potatoes, a burger with a bun, or chicken with pasta. For decades, this has been the standard for a hearty meal. However, many nutritionists suggest that this specific pairing can be quite taxing on the digestive system, especially as we get older. Here is why this happens. Proteins generally require an acidic environment and plenty of time to break down properly. Starches, on the other hand, begin digesting in the mouth with saliva and prefer a more alkaline environment. When you mix a large amount of heavy protein with a large portion of starch, some experts suggest the stomach has to work overtime to accommodate both needs simultaneously. Think about that for a moment. You're asking your body to perform 2 opposing tasks at once. For a younger person with a robust, rapid metabolism, this might not be noticeable. But many people over 50 notice that this combination sits in the stomach for hours. It can result in a feeling of heaviness, gas, or just general sluggishness. It is that classic food coma feeling. It is not necessarily that you ate too much. It is that the combination is demanding a massive amount of energy to process. Some people feel more energized when they try separating these 2 categories. For example, instead of having potatoes with your steak, you might try a large side of roasted vegetables or a fresh salad. The greens digest easily with the protein, and many people report feeling significantly lighter afterwards. This doesn't mean you can never have a burger again, but being aware of how often you combine dense proteins with dense starches might explain why some evenings feel heavier than others. But this next pairing is the one that surprises almost everyone, because it involves something we all think of as universally healthy. We're talking about eating fruit directly after a heavy meal. How many times have we finished a delicious dinner and then decided to be healthy by having a bowl of melon or berries for dessert? It seems like a perfect choice. However, Many holistic health practitioners and nutrition experts suggest that fruit is best eaten alone or on an empty stomach. The reason is all about speed. Fruit is the race car of the food world. It digests incredibly quickly, often passing through the stomach in 20 to 30 minutes. Complex meals containing proteins, fats, and grains are like a slow-moving bus. They can take hours to process. Here is where it gets interesting. When you eat that fast-moving fruit right after a slow-moving meal, the fruit gets stuck behind the traffic of the heavier food. It wants to move through, but it can't. While it sits there waiting in the warm environment of the stomach, it can begin to ferment. This process can produce gas, bloating, and that uncomfortable distended feeling. Most people never notice this happening until they stop doing it. They assume the bloating is from the dinner itself, but it might actually be the fruit trying to get through. Many people over 50 say they digest meals better when they treat fruit as a standalone snack. Having an apple mid-morning or a bowl of berries mid-afternoon allows the fruit to pass through the system quickly and efficiently, giving you a burst of energy without the digestive conflict. This tiny detail makes a big difference in how your afternoon feels. If you love fruit, keep eating it. Just try shifting the timing. Experiment with having your fruit 30 minutes before a meal or waiting 2 hours after a meal. It is a small adjustment, but for someone with sensitive digestion, it can turn a heavy, bloaty afternoon into a comfortable one. It is about working with your body's natural flow rather than against it. Your body changes with time, and that's not a bad thing. It's simply asking for a little more strategic care. And this third one is the most common, yet the most overlooked. It involves combining dairy products with highly acidic foods. We see this all the time: cereal with milk and a glass of orange juice, or a creamy pasta sauce made with lots of tomatoes. While these are delicious combinations that many of us have grown up with, research indicates these pairings can be harder on digestion for some people as they age. The logic here is quite simple chemistry. Acid curdles milk. If you squeeze lemon juice into a glass of warm milk, you see it happen instantly. It clumps up. When you consume dairy and acidic foods together, a similar coagulation process can happen in the stomach. For some individuals, this curdled mixture becomes much more difficult to break down. It can linger in the digestive tract and create a sensation of heaviness or even mild congestion. This doesn't mean it is dangerous, but it can be a source of subtle discomfort that you might have just accepted as normal. Many older adults say this combination leaves them feeling sluggish or phlegmy. If you notice that you often feel clearing your throat or feeling stuck after a breakfast of yogurt and grapefruit or cereal and juice, it might be worth trying to separate them. You could have your orange juice 20 minutes before your cereal, or swap the dairy milk for a plant-based alternative that might not react the same way. Most seniors never think about this small detail, but digestion consumes a massive amount of our daily energy. If we can make that process easier, we essentially free up energy for other things, for walking, for thinking, for enjoying our hobbies. When you stop these conflicting combinations, you aren't depriving yourself. You're simply rearranging the schedule. You can still eat all the foods you love. You're just being more strategic about the timing. But let's pause for a second and talk about why this matters more now than it did 20 years ago. As we cross the threshold of 50, our production of digestive enzymes naturally decreases. The lining of our stomach may become a little more sensitive. The muscular contractions that move food through our system can slow down. This is the natural progression of life. When we continue to eat difficult combinations, we are asking an older system to perform with the same vigor as a younger system. It is like asking a vintage car to drive at maximum speed every day. It can do it, but it causes wear and tear. By respecting these changes and simplifying our meals, we're showing kindness to our bodies. It is also important to remember that everyone is different. This next insight might explain why your friend can eat anything while you have to be careful. We all have unique bio-individuality. Some people over 50 have iron stomachs and can handle steak, potatoes, wine, and dessert all at once without a whisper of complaint. Others feel the effects immediately. The goal here isn't to follow a rigid set of rules or to develop a fear of food. The goal is to become an observer of your own body. Next time you eat a heavy protein and starch meal, just pay attention. How do you feel an hour later? Do you feel light and ready to go? Or do you feel heavy and tired? If you feel fine, great. But if you feel sluggish, you now have a tool you can use to feel better. You might try experimenting for just 1 week. Try eating your melons alone. Try having your burger without the bun, wrapped in lettuce instead. Try drinking your orange juice a bit earlier than your milk. Small tweaks often yield the biggest results. Many people find that when they start food combining loosely, they lose a bit of water weight because they are less bloated. They find their sleep improves because their body isn't wrestling with digestion all night. They find their mood lifts because their gut is happier. Eating after 50 doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't require expensive supplements or strict diets. It is really about returning to simplicity. In many traditional cultures, meals are often simpler as people age. They gravitate towards soups, stews, and simple pairings because intuitively, they know it feels better. We have gotten used to very complex modern meals with 20 different ingredients, but sometimes simple is best. A piece of grilled fish with steamed greens is a complete, nourishing meal that asks very little of your digestion. A bowl of oatmeal with cinnamon is comforting and easy. And here is where it gets interesting regarding how you eat, not just what you eat. While we were talking about combinations, we shouldn't forget the power of chewing. No matter what combination you eat, if you rush through it, it will be hard to digest. Chewing is the first step of digestion. If you take the time to chew your food thoroughly, you're already doing half the work for your stomach. This allows even slightly imperfect food combinations to be digested much more easily. So, if you do find yourself at a dinner party facing a plate of steak and potatoes and fruit salad, don't worry. Just slow down. Chew well. Enjoy the company. Stress is often harder on digestion than any food combination could ever be. Your body is an incredible vessel that has served you for over 5 decades. It has weathered storms, recovered from illnesses, and carried you through every day of your life. Listening to its subtle signals now is a way of honoring that service. If eliminating these 3 combinations makes you feel just 10% better, isn't that worth it? Isn't it worth feeling a little lighter in your step and a little clearer in your mind? So, as you move forward, try not to see this as a list of don'ts. See it as an invitation to experiment. See it as a way to get to know your body again. Maybe you will find that dairy and acid is fine for you, but fruit with meals is a disaster. That is valuable information. You're the expert, on you. Trust what you feel over what anyone else tells you, even experts. But keep these 3 common culprits in mind as a starting point for your exploration. Eating after 50 doesn't have to be complicated. With a few simple tweaks, every meal can leave you feeling comfortable, energized, and truly satisfied. You deserve to enjoy your food and feel great afterwards. It is a simple pleasure, but a profound one. If this video gave you something helpful to think about, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It really supports the channel. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Have you noticed any foods that just don't seem to mix well for you anymore? Let's share our experiences and learn from each other. Thanks for watching, and here is to happy, healthy eating.